Welcome back to Case Closed Anime Review, episode 105. Can you believe this is one of our anime review series to have over 100 episodes? Yeah, the only three are basically Boruto, One Piece, and Black Clover. Yes. Despite that, you see, Boruto, One Piece, I reviewed those two series now for almost 4 years. In the case of Boruto, in a couple months, basically, it'll be 4 years since the start of that series. One Piece I reviewed since July of 2017. In the case of Black Clover, I've only reviewed that for almost 3 years now. This series I reviewed for almost 2 years. In the case of those series, or in the case of Boruto, that was gradual, basically, to get up as far as they did. Though a couple times, at one point with that one, it was basically where I reviewed 2 episodes because it was an hour-long episode, so every episode since then was like an hour, 1 hour behind the actual episode number, until basically this last year, whenever a new chapter of the manga came out, I decided to do an episode of the series and doing a special. For One Piece, the only reason why it got as high as it did was because not only reviewing episodes of all the seasons, but I was reviewing all the movies, TV, pretty much everything related to One Piece. Case Closed is kind of the same way, where it kind of did the same thing. But what about Black Clover, mind you? That was gradual, well, not exactly from the start, mind you. It just basically was like every single arc of the series, basically each one of the starts. It was like that for the first handful of episodes, then eventually was like regular episode reviews. This one, mostly, it took a while for this one. I didn't start doing regular episode reviews until episode 28. Yes. Of course, since then, I've also done pretty much, everything related to this series. Not only have you basically all the episodes of the anime, along with this one, along with pretty much all the episodes of the manga, all the chapters of the manga that have come out, starting with a case that came out, let's see. The first case I reviewed in Case Closed the manga was the Antique Faucet case. Yes, that was the first one, mainly because of the fact that I had just caught up with the manga, and I think it would have been a smart idea to start with this case, which was actually the 298th case overall. So I started with that one purely because the other one had just wrapped up. It would be kind of dumb for me to start a case at the finale. Why not start from the case I'm getting? And since then, basically, I'm viewing cases. Reading the manga. Now, I should point out, though, this episode does wrap up the 295th case of the series. The TV drama filming site murder case. Though in the anime, it's referred to as the action that was Makoto Kuto, the Understudy. Yes. That is by far the name of the episode. Though this is the third part. And this episode pretty much covers the second half of chapter 1025 and goes straight through chapter 1026. With a little bit of change here and there. Episode starts off basically with Conan trying to deny the fact he's Sichi. And then Sarah walks over to Ren and is like, hey, do you know any immature children aside from Conan? It's and she's about to say a name that I thought she was going to say, and of course, but Conan's like, oh, it was Makoto, and Sarah's like, no, and then of course he gets dragged away. They actually added this little bit in the anime where Conan's basically jumping around the place because he basically pulled away to being questioned about the assistant director's death, Akota. Though Ren does reveal that it was Hybera is the one who's mature, who's very cool. Yep. And meanwhile, though, at the Vesser house, basically you have the detective boys playing video games. And we have this wonderful scene where Hybera basically, she's ever suffered from a cold, basically just a couple of them do. And Agasa pulls out basically a tablet of cold, basically from a company called Seroto Pharmaceuticals, which, get this, it was her parents' medicine company, believe it or not. Yes, it was run by her parents. And basically, what she explained is that there was the reason why it went bankrupt 25 years ago. It was ran by her parents, basically, for a long time. Her father. And everyone's like, why the heck you took us away a long time ago? Because she remembered, that's why. And there was a group who tried to buy it. That was the reason why it went bankrupt. And according to Professor, he said that they were known for making cheap medicine that was very effective. And according to Highbrow, she says, oh yeah, I got this all information from my sister. Her sister, who's was her 20s at the time she was murdered by Jin way back at the start of the series. Not like, let's say, the first episode. She was murdered, like, in a very old case. Like, let's see. It was one involving a bank robbery. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see. Where is it? I'm trying to remember exactly when in the world that she was killed. They mentioned she was related to her when they first introduced her. I'm trying to find the episode. Because it was late in the series when they introduced her. I'm trying to find it here. Let's see. Here it is. Woman in black kidnapping case. Her sister was killed. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, it was basically she got killed back in episode 128. Yeah, that's when she was killed. Yeah, and then of course Conan later met her sister not long after this. This is back in season 5. Yeah, that's how long ago this was when she got killed. Hyper was introduced in just like the following episode. Yeah, just basically like not long after that, because she basically had Conan first because he couldn't prevent the death of her sister. Yep. So it's like trying to everybody forget about that because like, oh, interesting. Yep, I think it was so cool. So we get development on that. I like the fact we reference basically the sister. Plus we get a reference to the Bell Tree, the thing that happened in like episode like 300. It happened a while ago. Let's see if we can find it here. Because it was a case involving, like, let's see if we can find it here. It happened like a while ago. Was it 400? I don't think so. When the heck was this one? Yeah. So they mentioned the Bell Tree train case, which they don't show the flashback of Hybrid under the cop mask. Yeah, they don't show that here. In the manga they do. In the anime, nope, they don't do that at all for some strange reason. Yeah, I don't know why, they just don't. It's kind of interesting the fact they do that. Yep. So they also mentioned not only that case, but also the one of the best cases of the whole series when Conan's in London helping out a tennis player, where she says, "Oh, I'm Holmes' apprentice." Yep, and apparently, according to we see in Sarah's flashback, that is how she found out about Conan. That TV broadcast, which okay. And oh yeah, and they figured out who was responsible for the two murders. Yeah, and of course, well, since Sarah is not interested in helping Conan out because she's more interested in investigating him, so like, okay, how about let's say knock out Sonoko? Like it's been a little while since he did this. Probably the first time in a Candy Case quest. The time he did this near a van because the van was brought by the actual culprit of the case, who was a woman. And knocked her out, so... Yep, and of course, well, Sarah's like, Conro's not around, so... Sonoko's like, oh... And this is actually the first time she's actually seen... She's seen the Deduction Queen. It's the first time ever in the series she's ever actually seen this. Despite the fact that Ren has seen this multiple times with the whole series. Not in the case of Sarah. Nope, she hasn't. So... And of course, well, Conan as Sonoko has his musical to pull away Sarah just so he can do the deduction while being stared at, which I found to be so hilarious. And the way he grabbed it was like, oh, pull underneath the arms, basically drag her away. I think that's better than, let's say, grabbing by the arm, hurting her. Because even Makoto basically knows not to hurt Sarah. Not just because she's his girlfriend's closest friend, because he doesn't like hurting women. That's him for you. Yeah, it's revealed that it's the person responsible for the two murders was the makeup artist. Yep. The first murder was actually pre-planned that very day, mind you. It was like on the spot. Because basically all over a comment that the actor made to one of the ADs. So, all because that one comment was like, okay, I'm going to kill him via prank. With the spinning butterfly. And she killed the other guy because he was blackmailing her. Kills her by freaking poison. And how in the world they were responsible for this was because she put like a cap, a special poison cap on top of his straw with his shake. Okay. So you're probably thinking, okay, what the heck happened to the cap? Well, she took the cap off the straw and she put one of the capsules in her allergy case. Of course, she was sneezing like freaking crazy. And then she tried to get away, though she basically, of course, Sonoko was still leaning against the van. They basically knocked that over. So, and of course, well, we have, I do appreciate what the anime did a lot better than the manga. Manga's like, oh, walk up to the van and try to knock out that way. You actually have Sarah running to the van, trying to break the window. And then I love what they do. This is actually a lot better than in the manga, because in the manga, basically, it's kind of like, okay, we see her about to hit the school building and commit suicide, but lucky enough that Makoto, Seiko's boyfriend, picks up the freaking van. Yes, with his raw strength, because that's a trope for the series, is that anybody who knows martial arts has got this raw strength. Heck, I've actually seen Ren basically kick a garage door down with her raw strength. Kick the garage door, basically bend a sign just by punching it and not getting hurt by it. What is this? Basically, like anybody who knows martial arts in this series is basically super strong, like they're Superman. It's a minor trope for the series. First time, though, it's not used very often, but it's kind of a trope. So looking up, so Rand runs up, breaks the window, gets her out of the vehicle, and says something to her that was actually said by a friend of hers mother. Like, you probably think, is it actually Seichi's mom? No, it's actually Heiji's mom. Said the same thing. Basically, lives don't belong to you. They're precious. That calms her down. She gets arrested. Also, the director points out, though, that her acting is kind of like Yoshido Kudo, the beautiful wife of the famous writer who's now retired. Yeah, you can still get her despite the fact she's kind of retired. She's 38, but she looks fantastic for her age. it would be quite something. So they kind of team Makoto on basically to reboot it with him as the detective apparently gets something. And someone goes like, oh, it looks so cute in a policeman outfit, but that's her. Which I found to be so hilarious. But this episode overall was basically good for development for Sarah and Hybra. Also, it's pointed out by Ami that Hybra looks very similar to Sarah. Like, when I heard that, I'm like, yeah, there's a good reason why. Because here's kind of interesting. Sarah's mom and Hybra's mom are sisters. That's why they look alike. Yes, because it's not been specifically revealed in the series that Hybra is in fact Sarah's cousin. They've never seen in the series, despite the fact that basically they mentioned her by name in one of the chapters of manga, when it's like, oh, basically I'm Vermouth. Oh yeah, your sister made this. Here, let me make out with you. Basically, I have this in my mouth. Yeah, Vermouth kissing a woman. Like, comes back to the question: is basically Vermouth a lesbian or bisexual? Who the heck knows when it comes to her? Yep, that was a little bit later about the fact that Hybra's mom and Sarah's mom basically are related. Yeah. But this episode is fantastic, and I can't wait for the next canon case, which is going to be about the Snowy Mountain, which is going to be quite interesting of a case to show on screen. Yes. That is the next case. Yes, it is. Yep, it's the Nugget Snowy Mountains case. Another time, basically, do a Snowy Mountain case, which is going to be interesting to say the least. Having some characters meet each other first time, which I'm looking forward to it. But who knows? Also interesting thing about this case. This was the last case that came out in 2018. Yeah, it actually ended like not long after I had started reviewing the actual anime itself. Yep. But all in all, great episode. Can't wait for the next one. Though next week, it's about Falcons. And it's probably going to be an original episode. And I don't know if it's going to air next week. Who knows? It just depends upon what the anime wants to do. What the studio makes. Okay, so that's it to review. Next view is a Comic Con. Another one. Like, really? 3 in the same day? But this one's interesting. One is actually a finale for a series. The other one is the second to last, straightforward. Okay? Do this next video. Bye.